Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope everyone is well. It's all right, I'm just fiddling with this system just to get it sorted out. Okay, so where are we? 22nd of February, Thursday. 2 more days of the week left, and another week already coming to an end. Weeks seem to be going so quick. We're just over a week away from March already. Unreal, really, isn't it? So let's have a look. So we had some, I'm not sure what happened there, but we had there was no news that I was aware of. Market seemed to go a bit crazy there, and then settle. So I'm not quite sure what went on there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sweet deal. I agree. I was surprised myself, actually. As you can see, I picked up a couple of evaluations myself. So 90% off and 1 day to pass, which we've never had before. So this is by far, let's move that over a bit, this is by far the best deal Apex have ever done. So amazing. Nvidia earnings were very strong. Okay, I got you. This news, okay. Yeah, I was just unaware there was anything really. I couldn't see anything on my chart. But yeah, so that probably makes sense. I mean, it was late anyway. I mean, we were well done and dusted by then. So, but yeah, 90% off 1 day to pass. That's till, where are we? I think it's for about three days. Is it till the 20th? Have I wrote it down or not? And Sunday. Okay, yeah, so that's not too bad. So we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Is it 4 days then, is it? That must be 4 days. I will check. It seems like a lot, 4 days. Perhaps it is. Okay, excellent. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I will double check anyway. That's less than 200 for 10. Yeah, it is good, that, isn't it? It is good. I've never seen anybody else do some of the deals. I mean, I think on the odd occasion things like Bullanox do, but I think their evaluations are more expensive anyway. But market is officially open. So, yeah, 90% off and 1 day to pass, which is on until Sunday. So my code's down there. If you use it or you have used it, it's much appreciated. So what are we doing now? We're going a bit sideways now. We have some news coming up. Flash manufacturing PMI, flash services, which is coming up in around about 15 minutes. So just got to go a little bit careful. So who have we got in so far? A Keep Treat, good afternoon to you. And Jay, just at the moment, did you end up trading more yesterday? I did. What I wanted to do, I traded just on 2 accounts. What I wanted to do was, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting more control, and it concerns me that I can't trade outside the stream. The stream seems to be my safety barrier. So I wanted to come back and just have a look and see if I can trade without it, because it gets a bit concerning that, you know, that I only think I can trade without that. So that's why. So I have adjusted my chart a little bit as well today. Let me have a look. So I've taken the NQ off temporarily. What I'm gonna do is, because I like a full chart myself, but on OBS what I can do is have separate windows, so you guys see this, and then maybe here you'll see the NQ as well, so you can understand. But I'm trading them actually on separate screens, so I have a full screen, because so there you go. Growth is good for you. Thanks, Jay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting control. In fact, I said to my wife last night, I can categorically say I won't revenge trade again. It's just dawned on me, it's absolutely bloody useless. It just makes no sense whatsoever. You know, let's say, for instance, I don't know, I lose 3/4 of my account. Let's say I've got $1,500 and I happen to lose half of that. Now, in the past, I would have tried to get that back. But if I lose it, I've then got to take another evaluation, and then I start a PA at 0. So I don't have to buy those 2 extras if I just keep the account. So it just seems to be making more sense. So perhaps I'm finally making a bit of a breakthrough. I don't like to say too much just in case I jinx myself, but there there is a failure there. My slight issue is that we push back in there, and I think it's probably sensible maybe just to hold on because we have got this news pending, and at the moment the NQ looks like we're pushing up. So I wouldn't be surprised if that triggered, which it has, and we moved up. It might not be. I'm just seeing what the NQ is. Yeah, see, I can see the NQ on a full screen now, but you guys can't. Well, I suppose you can. It's on a 1500 tick chart, mine is. Okay, this looks like... yeah, I'm just sitting tight at the moment because at the NQ we're actually on the bottom of the range at the moment, so we could bounce and push up. So I'm staying out of a trade here just at the moment. I would guess that it may go down, but that is just an educated guess, which I'm not willing to put a trade on. So we might just have a channel with a break and a new low. It's a bit hard to say at the moment, but we have got that news pending, so it's probably a good idea not to get into a trade. This could push back into a range. It's hard to say. We have hit all-time highs here, so we may bounce off that. We could have two legs down and we could continue higher, but it's you know, it's your guess is as good as mine. So, but yeah, 90% off. I did pick up a couple of evals myself, and what I might do is if I do, you know, have a loss or something, then I could always just trade the evals, so at least I've got something to do. So we'll see how we get on here. I had to mess around with these channels just to try and get it to look something like I knew what I was doing, but it's not the easiest. That kind of looks okay. Well, we've got a break. That type of trade, if I was here, I would have taken, because that's the type of trade I love. When we have two legs down and a break and then a higher low, that's the type of trade I love to take. So, yeah, it's just this. Yeah, there's nothing you can really do here. It's getting a little bit congested as that news is approaching. But this is a bit hard to read at the moment. We've had sort of a couple of legs. But it's a bit over the place. You don't know whether we're going to come down here and this is going to be sort of a bigger range. I got no idea at the moment. So it's just sort of sit tight and wait. There is. See, this is the NQ at the moment, so we are sideways. I mean, we've popped out a bit. We could sort of push up, but the way that's triggered and come down, yeah, that's a no-no, isn't it? So it's just a bit congested and a bit unclear at the moment. So with this news as well, especially, it's just not worth trading at the moment. I mean, it could go back in, but it may just continue down. Who knows? Not me. So incidentally, when I had that problem yesterday, I did put a post out on one of the Facebook groups, and a lovely lady called, I think she was called Monique, let me have a look, sent me, let me just bring this, how can I do it over here? Let me just see if I can find it. She sent me a video on how to sync it properly, a link to a video. Let me see if I can just find it for you guys. Ninja Trader lag issues, that's the guy there. I will just knock off the volume a sec. This guy, look at this video. Ninja Trader lag issues, install a lag timer. I like this. It's shown you the lag, and I think his system was over a second out, which is quite large. So I'll leave that there for a second. So watch that video. I'm going to watch it later again, and I'm going to download that lag indicator. But the guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. But he takes his lag from over a second to 0.02 of a second. and it does make a difference. So, Ken, yeah. So have a look at that later, and then. But I can't get rid of it now, can I? Oh, I bloody hate that. Let's have a look. Yeah, so have a look at that later and see what you think. Yeah, it's pretty scary to say. I know some of you guys have got a lot more PAs than me. Now, if something goes wrong, I don't know if you guys remember I had that issue where I couldn't close my positions in Rhythmic. They close in Ninja, but not in Rhythmic. And what happened is we had a holiday. It was a holiday day where there was half-day trading. And I took a long position here, which worked in the end. But because the market was slow, I got out of the position for break-even. So I closed the position for break-even, but it carried on in Rhythmic. And for some reason, I could not close it in Rhythmic. I went through all of the procedures to close it down. I restarted everything, click flattened. I did everything I could, and nothing would close it. And when the market closed early, the position was still there. And I came back later at 11 o'clock in the evening UK time when the market was due to open. And when the market opened, the position was still live. And what had happened, I was up 4 points at the end of the day, and it gapped down about 3 points. Luckily, I had the foresight to stay there and shut it down. It allowed me to shut it down then, and I ended up $70 up or $75 up. But if I'd have come back the following day, the market would have dropped 20 odd points and I'd have lost my PA accounts. I didn't think it was possible to have a position open at night. So something went wrong, and it does concern me that we have these issues on occasion with Rhythmic. It's scary because, as I say, a lot of you guys have got more PAs than me, and if something goes wrong with your PAs, it's scary to know. It doesn't make me feel confident about building a pot. I tend to want to get to $2,600 and take me money. Can you imagine, getting up to maybe $7,000 or $8,000 and intending on taking a regular payment every month? What if something goes wrong and you lose it? It scares me. So what I'm going to try and do is just do a little bit more research about this and try and figure out how best to deal with it, because it's just it really is unnerving. And I know Apex say if it's a widespread problem and it affects a lot of people. In the past, they've reset everyone's accounts, prior to it, which is great. But if it happens to maybe half a dozen, a handful of people, I've heard rumours that they say, well, it's not our issue, it's Rhythmic issues, we're not responsible. But that's no good to me, and you guys who put our hard-earned money into it and try and build these accounts. We need some stability, and if it's unreliable, then what do you do? So I'm going to do a little bit more research about this and just chat to a few other people and just see if I can't sort of get some answers a little bit and try and find out, is there a way around it? I mean, I don't even mind buying my own damn data. So, I mean, call me a bit ignorant. I'm not exactly fully up to date with exactly what Rhythmic does. I know it's data, and I believe it's a platform that you can trade from. But isn't it a method where it connects your system to Apex's system so they can obviously monitor trades and liquidate things, if accounts get blown? So I'm not even fully sure what it does. I have heard rumours that you can use other data, but how do you get that connection with Apex? I'm a little bit unsure. It's never really concerned me before. It's never been an issue, so I've never really looked into it. It's just something I need to spend a bit of time, because as I start to get more confident in my accounts building, it's something that's concerning me more and more. So we have got some news coming up in about 2.5 minutes. So if you are thinking about going along here, just be careful. You just don't know what's going to happen. It may go a bit sideways for a bit, so just be careful there. We've got a Flash Manufacturing. news, which is coming up in just over 2 minutes. Nice two-tiered channel working down. You on about here or here or here or here? Yeah. Let's have a look. And about something like that, yeah. Yeah, I actually like that. Fits really nice. So perhaps this is a break and a new low, but unfortunately, we've got this news coming up. So even if we've got a nice short setup here, we can't really take it. So, I mean, I've drawn that as best I can. It's not, you know, I prefer to get a bit closer to here, but it kind of works. Let's put that there, yeah. So we've had a break and a new high, whether you call that an overshoot and it's retested. But we have bounced off all-time highs. We've made one more attempt there. So, I mean, we could get a big drop. I got no idea. But looking on the daily, we've made a new high after a break of this channel. By a tick, I think it looks like we have. Or have we? It's hard to tell there. Yeah, I think we have. It's touching there and it's a bit below there. So we've had a break in. We've made a new high. There's been a lot of strong buy-in lately on this daily. We've just been going up and up. So, you know, your guess is as good as mine. We could certainly get some downward stuff. That's for certain. So, news approaching in just over 20 seconds. So let's put that right there. BJ, how you doing, my friend? So yeah, we've had this channel a bit of a break, but this news is fast approaching any second now. Okay, channel break. New high, so probably not really doing much. Let's see if it breaks all-time highs. So all-time highs are up here, so nothing major, I don't think. In fact, if you just jumped onto the charts and you didn't know there was news there, you probably couldn't really tell. It just might look like a strong buy-in off the bottom. So yeah, kind of like that channel, but the trouble is it may be a bit irrelevant if it's more sideways. I mean, we can see it's respected along there and we've pushed up and bounced here, so let's have a look. What's the NQ doing? So we've broken out the range on the NQ. So we've had a little channel of the break. We've pushed up, we've bounced off this high, so maybe that's a lower high. I don't know. I don't like this, so I mean, it could go a bit. I just don't know. It's not a trade for me at the moment. That it's 3 dojis in a row, so it could do anything there. It's still flickering around a little bit. So we've had this channel, we've had a leg and a leg. So there, if you took that one, let's have a look, what would you have got? If you'd have done it a tick below, which is somewhere around about there. You'd have got a point maybe. Let me have a look at that. Probably come down a bit lower, probably something like that. So yeah, you'd have squeezed a point off that if you'd have took a point. But just those dojis there, it's just looking a bit, yeah, it's too close to the nose. It's still flicking around a little bit. It's trying to push up. We've got all-time highs up here, which we've just pushed above now. So maybe that's a leg and a leg. Yeah, I guess is as good as mine, maybe. So let's just whip that off. So new all-time highs are up here. Are we going to continue up? There is a measured leg on there, which we could push up. So we've had this channel with a little break. This is the daily. So that's a nice channel there. Doesn't seem to want to slow down, this market, does it? It just keeps going and going. I mean, that's a strong move, that is. Bit of a flicker down, and then, you know, a fair old chunk of points there. There's 120 points near enough there, 110 points from that push up initially to the high. So look, 100 points. Well, if any of you's got your pensions in the S&P, it's done really well. Done really well lately. So we could be moving up to that measured leg on the daily. So right from here, so we had a push up there, pull back to here. We're right on it now. That's a strong move, that, considering the market's only just, the main market's only just really opened. Okay, so that's that sorted. So it might just be like two legs. Does look like two legs, doesn't it? That leg, leg. Okay, we're back to this trend line now. Let's see what happens here. In fact, there may even be a little bit of an overshoot there. We've got a nice touch there, possible overshoot. So that might account for this break. So that may be a bit of an overshoot. We've made all-time highs anyway, so your guess is as good as mine where this is going. Could retest this and push higher. There may be something bigger there. I don't know. Possible. You never know. There may be something like that. It's possible. Let me just get rid of these for a minute because they're colliding me vision down here. Where's this channel? So kind of fits there. See what happens here. So that's a possibility. But it's a bit early days, really. I'm just putting that there just to see what happens here. Seems like we have a tiny overshoot. Yeah. I always I got to say, once I got caught out on that, and I remember saying to Mac, why did it fail? And he went, you got an overshoot there. And I'm not kidding you, it was the tiniest overshoot. But it was an overshoot nonetheless. And he did say to me, sometimes the tiniest overshoots made a difference. And he was the one that told me, if you think it's got an overshoot, assume it has. That will keep you out of a bad trade. See, if you get an overshoot and you're thinking about going long there, and it triggers you, comes down, so I'm not saying it's going to, but you think we've had a break, a nice big bullish bar, let's go long, and it triggers you, comes down because we've got a break and we get a reversal. So he was the one that told me always assume, if you think we've had an overshoot, assume we have. That way you'll save yourself from getting in a trade. So if you think you got an overshoot, I don't think about going long. I let it sort itself out, because sometimes we'll just get a correction and we'll carry on. Sometimes we'll just get an outright reversal. What it'll do sometimes is we'll get a channel down there, we'll get a break, and then we get another leg. Sometimes there's a bunch of different things. So but he marks trades after overshoots all the time. You could not take in real time. Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes I've heard him say as well is I'm not convinced it is an overshoot. So it's kind of sort of contradicted himself. But I think all I do is just be a little bit more aware of what I'm doing if I think there's an overshoot, because a lot of times when we see an overshoot, it'll push up, make a new high, and then drop. Like it would with a normal break. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's not easy, is it? It's not easy, but I just just be a little bit more cautious. So we got a channel there with a break, so maybe we're going to have a correction. I don't know, who knows? I keep saying maybe, but it doesn't really tell us anything, does it? But there is a possibility. We've touched there, right from that touch, right touch here, and we've sat there 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 4 bars there which have touched that line, but you can always draw a line from point A to point B, but until we reach point C, we can't even consider it as an uptrend, really, because point B could be anywhere it would fit. So but just the way it's fitting there and there along multiple bars, is enough just for me to put this channel down there, just to see if we push down and maybe bounce off it. So we'll see. So what I will say is on the NQ, if any of you guys got the 1500 tick chart up on the NQ, we've had this, we've had a break out of it, and we've pushed back in, and it looks like we're retesting the underside. And if we test the underside and drop, then perhaps this is a correction after an overshoot. One leg, two legs. We're getting kind of a nice bearish bar right on the underside of this we've pushed in, so maybe this is coming down a bit. Okay, so the bearish bar's triggered on there, but it is congested. There is a bunch of bars in a row there, so there's no guarantees. It's been a bit tough trading the last couple of days. Sometimes we seem to go through a stage of just getting awkward stuff. And then we had a day last week, I think, where we had 3 trades in a row in really short succession, really nice ones. And I got to say, when you see these good setups, you're kind of in disbelief. Yeah, absolutely right. It you know, any of us can really come to the charts after and say there was a trade, but you know, in real time, you just never know. You know, if I take a higher low here, I know for a fact the market went up there because I can see it. But, you know, in real time, you just never quite know. And you know, it's very hard to unsee this at the end of the day. And it's very hard to not pick up trades that you would normally have seen. It's just one of those awkward things, really, isn't it? See, obviously, we need to know where the direction of the market really to take, you know, trades accordingly. But what are we doing here? Is it a breakout here? Are we just trying to go up? Are we coming down? But it's unclear, really, isn't it? I mean, I've put that there. Sometimes it's not a good idea because you automatically think long, but it might not be the case. But what I tend to do, what I used to do, was just do these trend channels with no colour. In other words, this is an area of interest, and then when I was sort of convinced it was a channel, then I'd sort of colour it. But I tend to leave it like that. Rodian, how you doing? I just bought 10 evals with your code. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you. Enjoy the beer. Well, thank you. It's whiskey money, actually, mate, for me. I'm a single. I've stopped drinking beer as much. I like a bit of cider in the summer, but single malt's my thing. So I appreciate that, mate. And it's late for you, isn't it? Early hours of the morning. It's past your bedtime, I think. I did 2 more whiskey for you. Thank you. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. Anybody who uses my code, it is appreciated. You know, I think most of you know I get a commission from Apex. It doesn't cost you guys anything more. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't do it. But so appreciated whiskey. Yeah, I'm running out, actually. I've got a bottle of Lechaig from the Tobermory distillery at the moment, which is about 2/3 gone. It's a peated one of the heavily peated ones. So I've started ordering them from Amazon, actually. Surprisingly enough, they're quite cheap. You get some really good offers. So you just can't trade this at the moment, can you? I mean, on the NQ, we've come back into here and we're pushing out again. So I don't know what the hell's it? Anybody got any ideas what it's doing? Maybe a push up sideways, maybe another push up. So perhaps there is 2 legs. Perhaps we are going to push up. Let's put those legs back. So maybe that is like 1 leg, 2 legs of correction before we push up some more. Sorry. So I know perhaps we are grinding up, but the trouble is, it's congested. It's okay saying, well, that's quite bullish, that's quite bullish. But then we're also at all-time highs, so you don't know whether it's going to bounce and absolutely tank it. It could do a bunch of stuff. We'll come into the top of a measured move on the daily. We're maybe 6 or 8 points away from the top of that. So it could absolutely tank. If you went long there, or if you went long there, it just stopped you out. You know, thinking push up, a little bit of sideways, and off we go. So if you went long there, that's going to stop you out there. So let's see what happens here. I just don't like... It's not filling me with confidence thinking about going long here. I have a sneaking feeling that we're going to make quite a big drop. So I'm going to make a prediction. Excuse me a second. It's okay, sorry about that. This to me looks like it's going to have a reasonable drop. So I'm putting that in there. I just don't like it when it does this. It struggles to go high and then on occasion has a big drop. Yeah, it's the best deal Apex have had. They've had 90% offs quite a few times before, but not a lot lately. But they've never had one with a 1 day to pass. So that's pretty good. That's why I trade with Apex. You just can't beat them. There's no one out there that just does the same discounts. I got to say, I know there's the issue with Rhythmic, but I think that's just Rhythmic in general. I think you get the same problem, you know, whoever you traded with, you know. But as far as discount wise, they're solid. They kind of know how to, you know, and the rules as well, or lack of them. I don't think you can be beaten. I've not come across another prop firm that as attractive to trade with as Apex. So I don't know what's going on here. I suppose I could adjust that a fraction. Would it make a difference? Personally, I don't like the beggar pattern. No, I don't either. Actually, I'm going to get rid of it. The trouble is, if you do that, you tend to want to go long, and I think what we might be doing is just hitting a top of something here, which is why I've drawn that channel, because I have a sneaking feeling we're going to start to come down now. I see it's a range here. See, we got a channel down there. Maybe this is 2 legs. And then a short train range with an upper bias, yeah. The NQ's not telling us much either. See, there is a second entry short there. Is that worth a crack or not? Let's see how small
Order
it
submitted.
ends up. We got a leg down. It is a second entry short. We've closed at the EMA. It may work that, but I just don't like any of this. It just looks like I mean, it is a second entry short, but I don't like it. That looks like a trap to me, that does. This is just, it's choppy and unclear. It may work, but I don't know, it just doesn't fill me with confidence that. It does look like it's trying to push up, so if you took that second entry short, I have a bad feeling. We do like, we're pushing up on the NQ a little bit, so That's too bullish to think of a short setup. Yeah, let's have a look. I think it might work, but I don't want to get involved in there. So we're going to leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. It's also a failure and a second entry short, but it's just too sideways and choppy. And I don't really know what the direction of the market is. You know, some of you have suggested it's sideways with a bit of upward stuff. So probably certainly don't really want to be going short there, but I don't even think I want to go long here at the moment because it's clearly congested. So if you did take that short, you're going to get stopped out, I think. One more tick, yeah. So it's just untradeable really at the moment, I think. I agree there is a bit of an upward bias, but it's also just damn choppy. It's hard to, yeah, which is why I got out. I just cancel it. It's just... Let me have another look at this. Let me just join these up and see if this connects with anything. Yeah, I mean, you just be pissing in the wind there a bit, really. It's, I think, wasn't that how I had it before? Yeah, no. There is definitely an upward bias, I think. Tell you what I'll do. Let's just put that back there a minute. And let's just put another one up here because we do seem to be going sideways in here. So let's just put that like that. So, you know, a lot of times we'll do this in these bigger channels. We'll push up, go sideways, push up, go sideways, and that's just how it continues. Up and up and up. But it's just too choppy to trade here, really. Chad, I'm glad we didn't have this harder trading 3 years ago when I started. Yeah, I would probably quit. Yeah. Oh, I've mentioned that before. It did seem to be. Well, I was talking with someone the other day, and I said it did seem. See, when I started trading a little over 3 years ago. I started trading Pats with 3 years. 3 years in about May. 3 years May, early June. But I remember a lot more setups back then, but someone suggested maybe you saw a lot more setups because that sort of that newer trader, you know, because as you get more experience you filter out the crap, but back then I wouldn't have filtered out the crap, so perhaps it seemed like they would, but I genuinely think there was more setups. So I don't know why that's changed. You know, I don't know too much about the technical side, but I've heard people say, you know, the algorithm improves. But I don't know. You know, what the answer is, I don't really know. But it did seem to be more straightforward. But I don't know, is that just because I've improved my, you know, skills and I'm taking better trades? But it seems like a lot more choppy. Yeah, it does. There's definitely more choppiness. But I suppose, you know, on the upside, you know, as I've said multiple times, you only really need one trade a day. You can get any amount of money you want, really, just taking one setup a day. And the beauty about only one setup a day is you've got the whole day just to find one good quality setup. And you're always going to get that, I think. You know, it's rare there's not something. I know I tend to just do 3 hours, but I think if you sat there for the day, like some of you probably do, then, you know, that you're probably going to get your rewards the more, you know, after a while. But there is a lot of choppiness, but I don't quite know why. But what I will say is we've pushed up, made a new high, we've made another attempt, and every time we seem to be getting gaining less and less ground. So whether this is just a bunch of attempts to push higher, followed basically then by a big drop, it's always possible. So I don't really know, but you just can't trade this. You're going to get cut to pieces, really, unless you really know what you're doing. And I haven't got a clue there. There's going to be lots of traps, but it is sideways and it's quite tight and it's flicking all over the place a bit. So. But unfortunately, it's just part of the business, isn't it? Sometimes it is like this. But, when you're new to trading, it's so hard to sit through this. You're looking to get in any way you can. That desire to just jump in and trade is so hard to resist. But it doesn't bother me anymore. I can happily, sometimes I'll sit here for 3 days and I won't take a trade. I've got no problem with that. I actually get quite of a kick out of that I've been patient enough to sit there and not take a trade, because that's a sort of plus. On my skill level, it just shows that, that over time, your patience is slowly increased. But I think, as you filter out a lot of the crappier trades, it just comes with the territory, doesn't it? You naturally take less trades, you naturally have more patience, I suppose. But I don't know, maybe that will continue to eventually grind up. We sort of had it there, didn't we? We had a bit of sideways followed by a break, and then we pushed up some more. So perhaps we're going to get a leg and then a leg down here, and then we push up some more again. But that's just sort of guesswork, really. Whether we do that is a whole new thing. But, if you think now we're pushing up, you watch these markets sometimes, you think we're pushing up there, you think, here we go, let's buy. So what happens? It triggers you, comes out, stops you out. So if you think, oh, let's go short here, what happens? Triggers you, pushes up, stops you out. You think, nice big bullish bar, let's go long, triggers you, comes down. So it sort of goes up, picks up some long trades, comes down, stops them out, comes down, picks up some short trades, pushes up, stops them out. And it does seem to weave up and down, taking out weak positions. So when it is doing this, you really can't trade it, because you get into something that looks quite bullish, triggers you, stops you out. You get into something that's quite bearish, it triggers you, stops you out. So this up and down stuff is just basically cutting people to pieces. And unfortunately, it's cutting inexperienced traders to pieces, because, when we're inexperienced traders, we all get stuck in these areas, don't we? But obviously, every time it moves and it's a stop, people lose money. And the sad fact is, it's the less experienced traders that it's happening to. The more experienced people are staying out of it. But like I say, it's that desire to just want to trade. And yeah, we do have second entries and failures here, but because it's so choppy, it's just not safe to trade them. You might as well flip a coin. I think you got just as much chance closing your eyes in it and buy or sell. So hopefully something like that. The best thing you can do is drink a cup of coffee or tea. Yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, on that note, you've just put tea in my head. And I know I've got a fresh bag of Yorkshire tea downstairs. So while it's doing this stuff, Apex should do like Top Stop. They do not have a trailing drawdown. Only a day. They may change it. Apex, my experience of Apex are known for improving their rules, improving, let's say reducing their rules. We used to have to trade for 25 days before we could take any money out. Now 10 days. Used to have to trade for 10 days on an evaluation. There was a lot more strict rules, and they did, maybe about a year and a half ago, they took a lot of them away, and it just seemed to get, I think it was one evening a video came out, and I got a message from someone saying, you'll never guess what Apex had done. And I thought he was just, pulling my leg. But they got rid of a load of rules. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of that minimum 7 days. I know it's 1 day at the moment, but, I just think they're cutting more and more, obviously, to compete, because there's more and more prop firms, popping up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they started changing things like, trailing drawdowns, maybe end of day stuff, and reducing days to pass. But, who knows? I wish they'd do something with Rhythmic, because I'm hearing problems with Rhythmic all the time from people in different Facebook groups and that, and it's just, the more I hear it, the more the more scary it becomes, the more PAs you sort of build up. It's just unnerving. So anyway, I'm just going to leave this market do this for a minute. I'm just going to be gone for about 3 to 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea, and I'll be back. Okay. Right. Yeah, nothing's happened. You can't do nothing with this stuff. So maybe there is something bigger forming. If it goes sideways and pushes up again, like it does there, like it has there, then maybe there is some kind of a large channel. I'll brighten there. I would prefer it like that, not this bit, and that wouldn't look too bad. So maybe, we'll see. I just don't like that. So, I don't know, maybe there's something like that pushing up, but it's a bit early days, yeah. Mark has 9 trays, Mike. He probably does, doesn't he? In all fairness, though, if one of us came to the charts after, we'd probably find a lot. But the trouble is, in hindsight, when you don't know what the market's going to do, there's nothing you can do. I kind of wish you wouldn't do that, because there will be a lot of less experienced traders looking, thinking, why aren't I finding a dozen trades a day? And it can make you think, especially inexperienced traders who might, only recently signed up, they're going to think, I need to be finding, a dozen trades a day. What I would prefer Mac to do is just say, okay, I've marked these trades, but in all fairness, the best ones were that one, and that one. The rest I wouldn't have taken. Yeah, never a loss. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to be mean with Mac. I think, the guy's, what he's done for me personally and for a lot of us for a very cheap price, is really good. Yeah, I would love to see him record one of his trading sessions. I don't know why he does. The only conclusion I can come to is, as we all change and develop, we naturally see other styles of trades or other setups. You can't help it, but you notice patterns and see things happen. So I think you develop your own style as well. So perhaps he takes trades which are out of the rules. And if he does show them, he's going to get a million emails saying, why did you take that? Why did you take that? He probably has his own style of doing it. But I wish he would say at the end of the day that, okay, I've marked 10 trades here, but in all fairness, the ones I'd have taken would be that one, and that one. The rest I wouldn't have taken, and that would, it would make you feel better, wouldn't it? You just want to get into the head of him, into his head sometimes. Explain the contents. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish he would. He'd have been asked a million times, but he doesn't seem to do it. Second entry short triple test. Trouble is, mate, you've got to be so careful here. It is a second entry short, but the trouble is, yeah, it may work, but I just don't want to be taking a trade right in the middle of this, because sometimes these trades will trigger and then just go back and stuff you. They really have got a habit of doing that. He's the GOAT. He's just so good at trading. I think it's hard for him to... Yeah. Do you know, it's funny to say that. I thought about the other night. I see him... was it last night or the night before? I see him go past this trade and I'm thinking, talk about that. And he just moves straight past it. And I'm thinking it's because he doesn't even entertain that trade. Because he is way more advanced, that trade doesn't even enter his remit, So I agree with you. He's forgotten what he's like. And I mean, in all fairness, if you've been trading 20 odd years, you probably will have forgotten, what it's like and how difficult it is. So if you took that second entry short, would you have got your points? I would have said possibly. So if you take it there, you would have got you'd have probably got 2 points out of that. But it's dangerous taking it around here because it is so down, up, down, up, down, up, but it is a second entry short. But also, what you got to remember, it's working in that range, which is very small. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's 4.25 points from top to bottom. So and really, you've only got a distance, if you take it a tick below, you've only got a distance of 2.25 points to the lows. So you know, you've got to be so careful taking trades in this. Because the market's got a habit of really pissing you off, to be honest with you. Yeah, and also middle of the range. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and it worked just. But, you know, I mean, if you're scalping a point, then you may choose to take stuff like that. Not because he makes money selling courses. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't make money, does he? But, you know, I think Mac, I'm not a religious person. I think he's quite religious. He's a churchgoer. And he did say, I have heard him say that if he did well out of it, he wanted to put something back. So I kind of like that. That's someone with a good attitude, and the small amount. I mean, he hasn't changed the price. I don't know if any of you guys have been with him longer. I started with Mac 3 years, I think in this May, 3 years this May, and it was $125. It's still the same. It's more of a nominal fee, really. It's a very small amount to pay. You know, I would bet you a pound to a penny that you won't find another course so cheap. So for me, he does it generally to help people. So I love him for that. And he's done videos 3 days a week for the last 13 years on YouTube. That's someone who, to me, is quite happy giving, you know. A very good intuition addition. Yeah, absolutely. You'll build up an experience and gut feeling. You know, you see these markets every day, and what we are studying is human behaviour. So when you've been sat watching people in a room for long enough, you start to be able to predict what they're going to do. And I think that's why Mac's Trading's has developed into something that he probably doesn't want to show us, because he'll get a million emails. But, you know, Mac has to have a certain set syllabus to teach. You can't, you know, the rest comes with experience. So he teaches us that set way, and then you go out and you develop your own, you know, you tweak it to your own style, which is what he'll have done. And that's the only explanation I can come up with why he doesn't show us his trades. I do wonder whether this now is let's just, yeah, so we got this little area down here, so there is a possibility that may be a bit of a channel moving up. Now, I've had it there and I've got rid of it, and I've got it again. With the exception of this little bit here, it kind of fits really nice. So if that does continue to push up, I'd say that channel then may play more of a part. So we got some touches here, and it's clearly working slowly up and out. Now, it may just be the fact that there's a bigger channel here, or it might have pushed above this and it may come down, and this thing might be completely irrelevant. But you know, I've just popped this on here just to let you guys know what I'm thinking, and obviously that, you know, compare it to what you guys are thinking. Two heads are better than one, sort of thing. So there is a possibility we going up sideways, and, you know, sometimes these bigger channels can be a bit odd looking, but they sort of, you know, do that same thing. So but also we are in a range, so it may just come back, and who knows. But I have a sneaking feeling, and also looking on the NQ, the NQ is even more like it's going up. So, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if we maybe triggered a few shorts there and continued on up, or bounced. So Adam Scott, definitely, because he makes, yeah. Adam Scott, are you a new face, are you? Adam Scott. Scott. I don't think I recognise your name. Where are you from, bud? I know some people sit in the background sometime, but I would like to have some new faces. So, yeah, I'm just going to quickly bring the NQ in. The NQ does look like it's sort of starting to drift upwards. Yeah, I don't comment here much. Are you from Scotland? Ah, another jock. What's it comes in from time to time? Five Trader. Sam. We've got a couple, actually. Sam. Keith is another one. We've got a couple of you guys. And I'm a big single malt fan. So thanks for that. So yeah, it's always nice to, I don't know, maybe it is a spiking channel on there. So we've come in, and we do seem to be working. So I would suggest we are pushing up Adam Scott, and you're from Scotland. That's a that's a cliche, isn't it? So welcome, pal. Welcome. We seem to be surrounded by US guys here. There's more of them than anyone else, I think. So it's nice to shift the balance a bit. So yeah, I mean we've just made all-time highs again. So I would suggest pushed up. We're going sideways, and we are starting to push up a bit more. We're literally a few ticks away from making the measured move on the daily. So you've just got to be careful going along here in case this does decide to come back into this range. But it is starting to look familiar now, isn't it? Push up, sideways. Maybe this is the next push up. So, yeah, there quite possibly is something there. Maybe it is just a spike in a channel. So, that is a possibility. So a leg, bit of sideways and a leg. So what I'd like to do is have a break somewhere up here, maybe have a couple of legs down, test the top of this, and then maybe look for a long trade. So clearly going sideways here. There is a possibility that could just be a failed break out the top, but I'd like to have a couple of legs and then bounce, maybe test this top, looking like we could push higher. 87. I just noticed that, Jay. 87 trades in a row testing it. Yeah, it doesn't actually surprise me, really. I mean, bearing in mind he only does go for 1 point. But the thing is, when you get... I've got to say, price action is so accurate. It really is. It just doesn't lie. It fully tells the truth. The only time it lies, or you think it lies, is when you've made an error of judgment. But if you look back on setups, it really doesn't. That's why I love it so much. And I fully believe in it. But I get people that, I've heard people go, oh, I don't know, I don't think it works, blah, blah, blah. You need to give it enough time to fine tune it. And when you've been trading as long as Mac, it doesn't surprise me that he won 87 trades in a row. Okay, so we've come down there and nicked the top of the EMA, so I'd like to see a little bit of a pullback and then another leg down, giving us a second entry long. I generally never take those, always wait for the higher low just in case we have a pullback and we come back into the range. Today, did we already discuss yesterday's R-Trader problem? Briefly, yeah. It did seem like, I think someone else, I don't know who it was, somebody looked back on it quickly and it was just a delay. I had a bit of a conversation on one of the Facebook groups, and on occasion you can get a delay. It did work perfectly fine, but I was unaware. I'd never come across it. A minute and a half delay. Yeah, I did. I think part of the reason why I did is because I showed my password on there. Although I saved the video, so I have got it. But because I showed my password, I panicked and deleted it. Although I changed my password, I don't know. I just got a bit paranoid. But yeah, I did delete it. But yeah, it was just a delay. Apparently, it can happen. Everything worked fine apparently, but because in a strange way, it did me a favour because I got out the trade early and the trade went against me. So I actually saved myself about $280. So, it was okay in the end. But yeah, it can happen apparently on rare occasions. So if it does, just don't panic like I do. But I was just unaware of it. No, I'd never seen it before either. But yeah, what it did is it just started about a minute and a half later. And because there was a minute and a half behind, the profit we were seeing here and the profit we were seeing here were different. So when it was going up, I thought, when it was, moving up to stop me out, the prices were different. So I thought, what the hell's going on? You thought I handled it well, did you? I thought I panicked. I don't know. I panicked a bit, but no, what I did do is I got my password in front of everyone over here, so that's part of the reason why I did it. I did change my password anyway, but I didn't think because I was just in flat out panic mode. But yeah, it can happen. But that's all it was, just a delay. Now, part of the reason why I've maybe never noticed it before, because I've never had, the positions tab with Apex open before, so perhaps it's just because I've had it open recently. That's why I thought. But it did sort itself out. But it's not something you want, really, is it? We don't want the stress of it. Trading's hard enough as it is, without having to worry about stuff like that. But we can just do the best we can, can't we? And hope. I hope Apex come out with a better way of doing things than Rhythmic, because Rhythmic to me seems too problematic. I do follow the Facebook groups a lot of the time. There is a failure there. My slight concern going short is we do seem to have an upward bias, so I was concerned that was going to trigger and push up. But yeah, I do follow the Facebook groups just to get a picture, and I just hear that about Rhythmic just more times than I really want to, and it just does make me nervous the more accounts you get. You know, you don't want to hear problems like that. It's just too scary. So I hope Apex just get this problem sorted out quickly. Or find another alternative, because it's just going to start to... I'll tell you what I'm finding I'm going to do, and I know some people do, is instead of building an account, I'm just going to get it to $2,600 and take me $2,000. I know if you look at the Alpine guy, that's what he does. He gets it over $2,600, takes $2,000, reduces the contract size, and then just lets that trade run. It's paid for itself, lets that account run. It's paid for itself, so he just lets it run. If it gets up, great. But he's already earned money, and then he just gets another account, and he just keeps going through more and more accounts. But where's the incentive to let an account build when if you get 10 accounts up to $6,000 or $7,000, something goes wrong with Rhythmic and wipes your whole lot out. It's scary. It doesn't fill you full of confidence. The way you solve this problem forever is setting up the risk profile in our trader. When you say set up the risk profile, are you on about setting like a maximum daily loss just as a sort of final fail-safe? Is that what you mean, bud? Someone did suggest that you can use Tradeovate as your data. I don't even mind paying for my own data. I just want some stability. I put you in charge of my trades when Apex go. Would you? I'm glad you got faith in me. What else can you do, really? I just went through all the procedure. See, that's why I have suggested before a few times to you guys to use OBS. It's free, just to record your trades. Because if something goes wrong, you've got video evidence, and at least you can go back through it and have a look and find out what happened. But when you haven't, I know it sucks up a bit of your hard drive. But if the day runs smooth, you just delete it at the end of the day. But I would definitely suggest you guys download OBS. It is free, and just get it to just record. Rhodian Tradeovate is glitches. Does it really? I've gotten stuck a few times. I think my data comes from NinjaTrade. I have a personal account with them, and I connect it to that account first before Apex. How you doing, bud? See, I thought Rhythmic, I was unaware until recently that it was the data we get. I thought Rhythmic was a piece of software that connected NinjaTrader with Apex so they can monitor and manage your trades. So obviously they know how to update, your balance at the end of the day. And if you sort of, you hit your trailing drawdown, they know to liquidate your account. That's what I thought Rhythmic was for. I didn't realise it had data. But I don't know whether it's the data the problem or the software that sort of connects Apex, with your NinjaTrader account. So I'm really unsure. I don't fully understand it all, probably because I've never, really had any major problems, which is pushed me enough to sort of figure out. But I don't even mind paying for my own data as long as I can get some stability, because I feel like I'm in a position now where I can start to build accounts and not, I'm getting more control of my emotions, but I want stability. And Rhythmic just not filling me with any. It just scares me. I just don't want to spend my time and money into building accounts, and all of a sudden something goes wrong with Rhythmic and I lose a lot. That would absolutely fry my brain. I'm just going to start doing a bit of chatting on the Facebook groups and see if we can't come up with a way well, first I want to understand exactly how Rhythmic plays a part. The charts and intro shows the data for the first connected feed, although you can trade the second connected feed. Yeah, I don't fully understand it, but I kind of understand what you're saying. It's just a bit too techy for me. But I think I need to spend a bit of time and trying to find out a little bit more, because it would absolutely flipping cripple me if I got a bunch of accounts up and paying and something went tits up with Rhythmic and I ended up losing them. Touch wood, I've never lost an account with something going on with Rhythmic, but I have spoken to people who have. So when I use my own account, I trade Ninja Trader, and I have an app on my phone so I can close trade on my phone. I split my coffee. I split my coffee on my PC or any other tech problem. I do want to start building my own account up and trading that small just in the background to build. See, I don't know whether, do you have to have Rhythmic? Because from what I understand is I thought Rhythmic, and it might be, it probably is, I thought Rhythmic was a piece of software that you had to use, was like the middleman between your Ninja Trader account and Apex. Obviously, they need to be updated in real time on your trading, because obviously if you hit your drawdown, your account gets, we get the little pop-up box, as we've all had many times, and it gets auto-liquidated. So obviously Apex needs some sort of a connection to your Ninja Trader, and I thought that's what Rhythmic was for. Perhaps it is. So if anybody can shed any light on it, speak up. When you connect that second app on your phone, does it disconnect? Yes, it does, yeah. It does. So I'm thinking, if I get to the stage where my computer does nothing, I'll go into the app. It doesn't matter if it shuts Ninja Trader down, as long as I can close my positions in Rhythmic. Your own data, Apex still fill your orders with Rhythmic unless, yeah. So Rhythmic is just something. No, not your own personal account. Yeah, so Rhythmic is just something you have to have. See, as far as I'm concerned, now I've mentioned this before, if I sold washing machines, all right, now let's talk about washing machine brand Zanussi. Now I'm pretty sure Zanussi have different parts from different other companies, and then they build the machines. So if they get the software that runs the electrical side and puts it in their machine, well, they sent that machine to you. If it goes wrong, it's their problem. Doesn't matter where they got. If the pint of milk goes bad, you go back to the supermarket. You don't chase the farmer down the road going, there's something wrong with my milk. If you sell something as a package, you're responsible for it. That's my understanding. So if Apex sell me a package, I pay money for an evaluation to trade with Apex. They make money from me. Their package is, I download this, I download that, and that's what I use. Apex tell me I have to use Rhythmic. So if I start using things and all of a sudden the software they've told me to use as part of their package goes wrong and I lose money, as far as I'm concerned, it's their responsibility. So I don't know how they can say it's a Rhythmic issue, it's not ours. Well, then, but you're telling me I have to use Rhythmic as part of your package. So you're making it your problem by saying I have to use it. I know I'm ranting on a bit, so I'm sorry if I'm annoying anybody. But it is a bit frustrating. So you have simulation, connection, and Unit Trade, personal account, Unit Trade brokerage. I too use a MacBook for trading. The platform is web. Top step. Yeah, I'm just going to chat to some people around the Facebook group and see if someone can't shed a bit of light on how to improve things, or I mean, for the most, I think these problems, are few and far between, but it only takes it to happen once when you've got a bunch of accounts and you can lose a lot of money. And I won't be able to live with that. So what is going on here? So there is a channel down there where we've had a break. Trouble is, because we bounced off the lows, I can't really think about going short even if we get a second entry. Now we've had a break out the top, and often when we do that we get the same out the bottom. We had a break out the top here, and then we came back and bounced here, and then we had a break out the bottom. So unfortunately it's just so hard to trade. That failure worked nice actually. I took a failure that lost yesterday, sort of similar, but when I look back on it, the bar was more over here right at that. In fact, Thomas Wade's explained it the best. That it was a failure, but in the trend, I took it right at the bottom of the trend, so naturally it was going to move back to this side, and unfortunately, it was when just happened to have a break at the time, and so you live and learn, but that actually wasn't too bad, I don't think. I like the fact there was a second entry long which was trapped, and it was, I think, a relatively small bar. So if you have it tick above, tick below, 2.25 points, relatively small. Yeah, I would expect a break out the bottom here to match that. So at the moment there is all-time highs. Somebody mentioned that again. Top Step at top. Are they another prop firm? I'm assuming they are they? Is in beta stage still. Okay, so they're still setting it up, are they? I signed up, was offered $550,000 accounts for $450 US a month each account. Interesting. Okay, so they're a new prop firm basically, aren't they? I tested X. We're offered monthly up to 5 accounts. This is going to be one of those days today, I think. So there may be a bit of an overshoot there, so we're getting 2 bounces and may push up. So it's difficult trading this. There is a possible second entry short there. Trouble is, we've come off this level here. We've hit it a few times there. Once, twice, 3, 4 times there. So depending on how that bar finishes, it could come down. I think it's likely it will break out, but because we've bounced here, the last thing I really want to do is take a short here because it could trigger and push up. Yeah. It's hard to know. I mean, usually if we're in a range and we've broken out the top, often we'll break out the bottom. So, but you just never know, do you? You never know. There is a possible failure there. Do I want to go long there? Not really. It may push up, but it may just trigger it and come down. Because of this breakout at the top, I will be concerned of a breakout at the bottom. So I don't really want to get into a trade period here because there is also some congestion there, some sideways stuff. So it really could go up or down here because we have hit this bottom level. But with the breakout at the top, then I'd think the chance of breaking out the bottom. But then there's a possible overshoot there, so perhaps we won't attempt to break out the bottom. Perhaps we'll just bounce. Who knows? So you use top step, do you? I asked him a question once. He was on some sort of chat thing on, and I asked him what top step could do for me that Apex wouldn't. I can't remember what he said now. It was about a year ago maybe. I can't remember what he said, but he was on some sort of a live chat thing on YouTube with some trader, I think. Top step is 90% off for funded. They get 10%. Okay, so it's the same as Apex then. Do they use Rhythmic as well? See, I think most of them use Rhythmic, don't they? So there is a possible lower high there, but same again, it's just choppy here. Do I really want to go short? Not really. I just don't like this. It can stitch you up. Perhaps I should have a look at some other ones just out of curiosity to find out what's there, but because I've been with Apex now, I think Earn to Trade was the first one I ever done, first evaluation I ever done a couple of years ago. And then I did some with, is it UProfit? And then a trader buddy of mine mentioned Apex. And I've stayed with them ever since. But I suppose it doesn't hurt to find out who else is on there. Now, there is a possible short on the NQ. So I think I'd expect this to come down. As I mentioned, because we've had this breakout at the top, I expect one at the bottom. But hey, Sam, how you doing? We got another fellow Scotsman in here today. Where is he? If he's still listening, I'll find his name in a second. Adam Scott from Scotland. So I did say we had you here, another Scotsman, and Keith is another one, isn't it? There's a few here. You are up there. Are you well? Whereabouts in Scotland? I don't know. Adam, whereabouts are you in Scotland, bud, if you're still listening? We've got Sammy down the bottom, 5 trader. So perhaps you know him. Someone said that to me once. I don't know if you know so-and-so. He lives in the UK, and I'm thinking the UK is quite a big place. Back on the charts again. Good on you, mate. Good on you. You know what? You don't want to stay away too much. If anything, even just ditch the money and just get on a sim for a week or two just to sort of, clear your head a bit. But I think sometimes staying away for a while could probably be just, maybe detrimental. I don't know. Yes, trader. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? But yeah, what do you do here? Nothing really. No money, no party. Can't do sim. No, I can't do sim either. I mean, if anything, yeah, just blew my third PA after getting to the profit target. Oh, It's a bummer, that is. It is hard. It does happen that. Sam will tell you, he's got very close to it. So obviously, with that pressure of getting to it, you know when you get to your first payout, and as you're getting close to it, I think you can feel those nerves, and I think it affects your trading a little bit. So I think you've just got to. Well, it's hard to say what to do. See, when I did mine, when I got my first payment, I got my account up to $7,500. So I got way past that. I wasn't thinking about getting money at the time. But yeah, maybe set your target to $3,000 and that'll take that $2,600 out of the way. But you're probably going to get close to it and fail a bunch of times before you get there. And then when you've been there once, you'll get there again easy. And I think it'll just get easier and easier. Yeah, bad luck. Yes, yeah, I know what it's like. Do you know if the 90% off eBay price month after it goes down to 80% after that, bud? Yeah, it goes down. It's 90% for the first month, and then it goes down to 80% for any remaining months that you're still in that evaluation. I'm taking my first payment Apex at $2,600. Yeah, you got above it and then blew it. Oh yeah. I think what I would do is not trade after, or if you're well above it, maybe even just, I don't know, trade on a sim or trade on a micro or something. But yeah, that's got to hurt even more when you knew you could have taken a payment. But yeah, I feel your pain, but I've had it myself. I had 2 accounts, and I tried to I tried to take the balance a bit higher, so I only draw 1,000 from each. A few days later, I blew the account, so I could have had 2,000 each. So yeah, I've done it. And that first time I took out, I got my account up to 7,500. I could have took a second payment and ended up blowing it. I find that that riding takes a lot of discipline, rules. Like a job, basically. Yeah, you definitely have to treat trading like a business. You wouldn't take silly risks with a business, would you? You wouldn't take big gambles with a business. So yeah, it's a good point. That is, I've tried to think about that this week. Like this is my livelihood here. I'm dicing with, and if I'm willing to take stupid risks for my livelihood, have I got any business doing this? So it's a good point that you do have to think this is my job. And this is my money, and this is, I've started to think, well, I've got a family. I don't want to take gambles with their money and their livelihood. So, I think thinking like that only helps you. I trade with Lulu, and I think Apex is way better just because of their payout rules. Yeah, they do have good rules, or lack of them. You've only, see, Sam, you're only a baby there, mate. You've only blown 6 PAs. I've blown 45, I think. But what I would say is, if you haven't had a payment yet, I would say only stick to 1 PA, because if you blow one, if you've got 3 and you copy traded them, you're going to blow them all. So I would say only ever have 1. I think people go for too many. I only ever had 1. Until I passed it, and then I started getting more. But there's less pressure with 1. I know you tend to think, well, if I pass it, I can take 5 times $2,000. But I definitely only say, if there's any newish traders in here, or relatively newish traders, if you're taking evaluations, just do 1 at a time until you can pass them, because you're blowing multiple amounts of money. I definitely just stick to 1 until you can make it work, and then slowly increase. I think with Apex you can withdraw when you reach. Yes, you can. Yeah, on a 50,000 account. But with Lilu, you can withdraw the $1,000 extra when you make, apart from the 20. Okay, so if you want to draw $1,000, you got to get to $3,600. Is that right? Does that sound about right? Yeah, it is frustrating. It's definitely it's definitely an issue we're all suffering. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So because Apex, if you remember, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, they had it's a big bearish bar here. leg down. Big bearish bar there. It's too big, that is. They came out and said from now on that you couldn't withdraw. If you made a withdrawment, there always had to be $2,600 left in the account. And they came out and said, we're doing it for your benefit. And everyone went, yeah, sure you are. You're doing it because people aren't going to be able to get up to that high level and you're going to blow. And there was a bit of an uproar, and in the end they changed their mind. But I got to say that, you know, they would have. It's good that they did that. They tend to, you know, there was a bit of an uproar, and they listen to people. There's a break out of this and a big bearish bar. I kind of thought it might not be a bad option for a trade down to here, but it was massive. Well, what is that? So tick above, tick below. It's the best part of 4-point risk. The ATR is less than 2 points at the moment, so it's double the size of normal. So I don't really want to get into that. We're on PA 18 and 19. I've only taken 4 P8s, threw away 3 pairs. Yeah, it does happen, bud. We all do it. I think sometimes that's why I like this stream, because you get to chat with other people who go through exactly the same thing. Sometimes you think you're the only one. Sometimes you think you're useless. It just happens to me. It can't happen to anybody else. And when you realise, you're just one of many. And it's all part of the process. It's part of that changing that mindset. You've got to go through all those failures for your brain to start giving up and saying that it's just not worth doing anymore, and you start to change. It's the only answer, I think. But mate, you've got 4 payouts. If you've only done 18 or 19 accounts and you've got 4 payouts, you're doing well. You're doing all right. That's a relatively small amount of PA accounts and a relatively decent amount of payouts. So you're well above average there, I'd suggest. Most break even, yeah. Someone told me once, if you get to break even, you've made it as a trader. So all the money you've ever put into trading, if you get it all back, that's when you know you've made it as a trader. You've managed to get back everything you've lost. But another thing I will suggest, I mentioned this last week and I think it's important. If you've put $20,000 into trading and you feel physically sick, oh, I put all this money in, I feel really bad. Let me put it like this. You're investing in your career. Now, if you wanted to do a 3-year degree in the UK, invested in your career, that would cost you around about £30,000. It's about £9,500 plus extras, books, equipment, whatever else you need to do a degree in the UK. So if you did a 3-year degree in the UK, you would spend £30,000, which is about $40,000. And you would come out with a stack of debt. So all you're really doing by putting money into learn trade is investing in your career. So think about it like that. Don't beat yourself up that you've lost a ton of money. Think about you're investing it in your career. And I would suggest you're going to make way more money than the average person coming out of a degree in the UK. You know, there's not many jobs that pay as well as traders, really. Once you get into the financial markets and you get good at trading, you can earn a ton of money. So, you know, losing money at trading, all you're really doing is buying an education, exactly the same as if you were doing a degree. Very whippy action, yeah, it is, isn't it? Trouble is, while it's going sideways there, you don't know whether it's going to come right from the top right to the bottom or start to zigzag in a very small range, 4-point range that was, or 4.25 point range if I remember rightly. So if you're taking a trade, a point from the top, you haven't got much space to get out. You learn a ton about your strategy. Yeah, you do learn from losing. You don't think you do, but you do. I don't get trapped nowhere near as much as I used to, and that's because I've learned by getting trapped. You start to recognise those areas, and you know, you tend to only ever think about the emotional side of trading, but what you're forgetting is every day you're trading, you're improving, you're fine-tuning your ability to read this price action, and you can't help but get better. And people don't tend to think about that so much. They just think about all the negativeness that they're feeling, but they forget they are improving, although it may not necessarily seem it. I heard Mark Mini-Vinny. Make trades that would make you shit your pants. Place pick. Some people just they roll that way, don't they? I like the name. Can you tell me why UK traders are among the best in the world? Are they? I don't know. Not this one, isn't. Mini Evini, is that right? Is it Mini Evini? Yeah. Look him up. He's a legend. Is he really? Just take a screenshot of that. Take a photo. Where is it? Okay. He's also a scammer. I've just taken a photo for nothing. Yeah, you do learn a lot from your fail. You lose way more from your failures than you do your successes. This is one of those days, isn't it? We had a bit of a pain yesterday. Where were we yesterday? Yeah, we had all this. It was a bit of a ball ache, wasn't it? But then we had a push last minute. But the trouble is, you never knew it was going to do that, and there was no entry really. You may have got in there, or there wasn't even a high or low, and then obviously someone said, was that the Nvidia? Something to do with the news from the Nvidia. PA is 52,640. Yours is. You took 2 points. Okay, so you can stop trading that now and put in for a payment if you want. I'm going to start taking payments straight away and do what the Alpine trader then just lets them ride, then just reduces his contract. And that's the plan. Yeah, I definitely would. That'll leave you about $500, won't it? So just reduce it to one contract and just let it slowly build. And in other words, that PA's accounts pay for itself. You're trading with free money now, so just reduce your contract side and then trade it amongst your other accounts. And then if it builds up, happy days. If it doesn't, it's more than, what is it, 11x'd itself, something like that. Since the last payment, yeah, you're overdue another one then, mate. I'd take it, I would. There was a time where I'd tell people, no, build them, but no, I think it's good to take money because you get some, a good sort of feeling of success then. There's nothing worse than putting in and not taking out. So I think it's important to take out. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, take your money. It's good to earn something from it. It does make you feel good. I need this money. Yeah, absolutely. Of course you do, yeah. It is a good mental boost, actually, to take some money. There's nothing worse than just constantly putting your own money in and never get anything back. At least you can stick a bit in your pocket, can't you? And then you can buy yourself a few more. And then continue. Try and watch some of that Alpine trader, the way he talks about it. I like his thought process. He's making a shit ton of money now, I got to say. I think he earned 40 odd grand last month. He's making a lot of money. The frustrating thing is, I kind of watch him, but he never shows you his strategy. He won't tell you what his strategy is because he's worried that Apex are gonna stop it. I don't know why. If it's a strategy that works and makes money, where's the problem? But yeah, he won't show you him running his strategy. So you just got to sort of sit there and watch him not trade, really. But the tipping point of my trading, I can build them consistently now. Just a bit mental issues, yeah. Apex trade, Alpine, yeah. I'd say ES Trader, you're about the same level as I am. I don't have a problem building them. I've had a problem keeping them, but I'm noticing a pattern now that I can build up these accounts. So that is helping me tip that balance towards saying that, okay, if I take a loss, let's just forget it because I can build the accounts. And I think that is it sounds like you're the same area of me as at the tipping point where the seesaw starts to tip in your favour. You know, as your skills improve, you start to feel more confidence in your ability as a trader. And when you get to that point, the losses, I don't think, become as important. Watch the stream much, but I'll check it out to see. Yeah, no worries, mate. Where is he anyway? I'm pretty sure it's just Alpine Trader, but he is making a ton of money. I'm sure he said 45 or 50,000 this month. That's the guy there. That's him there. Yeah, I mean, is he trading this now? I think he's live now, isn't it? That's what he's made today. Look on all those PA accounts. He's up $4,000 already. But he won't show. He's in a trade there, but he won't show you his main strategy, where he makes the money. And he only ever trades I'm sure he said 2 or 3 accounts at the same time. Because the way you build accounts is actually very impressive. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's always for every trader dealing with a loss, and it's the sort of last sort of piece of the puzzle for me. When I get a PA account, I can always build them. You know, I win more trades than not. But when I lose them or I lose a trade, it does give you that little knock, doesn't it? But I think I'm getting to the level now where I'm thinking, okay, but let's just look at the pattern. The pattern is I lose it, I blow it, I get another PA account and I can build it. So let's miss out the middle bit where I blow it and have to take another one, and let's just carry on with it. You know, if you've lose 500, then so be it. But at least you're $1,000 up. Whereas if I blow it, I've got to then start a new PA where I'm at 0. So it's just not making any sense to me by blowing the account, because it's completely counterproductive. But because of that emotional, connection, it's very hard to control the emotions. But I think at some point you just look at it as absolute madness to blow an account, because you've got to start all over again. So that's how where I feel I am. So I just hope it continues. But, you know, as I've said a bunch of times before, the method to get round the psychological side of trading is time. You need to just keep exposing yourself again and again and again and again. And those powerful emotions it's impossible for them to have exactly the same effect again and again and again. They will reduce. It's impossible to do something every day and it's have exactly the same effect on you. As you reached a win rate of 90%. Yeah, I was trading really well, and it's when I had that trade, I ended up losing another one. I had 14 trades with 1 loss. Excuse me a second, I've just had a parcel delivered. Excuse me 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. New air fryer been delivered. Right, what's going on here? Are we continuing up, or is that just a top of a range again? What are we doing here? Trouble is, it could push up. I thought it might do that last time we bounced and came back down. Trouble is, it's so risky here. I don't even bother picking tops and bottoms now. I'm just no good at them. Unless we get a lower high here, maybe. Maybe that's channel there with the break, new high. Maybe trap some longs and come down. I don't know. We think about the second entry short. 1535. That one there, someone else took that one. I can't remember what it was. Personally, I wouldn't take it because you're going short right into the middle of that, and that's a 4.25 point range from top to bottom. And the trouble is, we ended up pushing out. We didn't come back down to the bottom, so it could have triggered you and pushed up. So I avoided it. No, the one after the failed breakout. Second entry. We touch time high, second entry short. Oh, you mean that bar there? That second entry short. I can't comment on there that there's that bar. Yeah, there's a bunch of reasons why I wouldn't take that. One, we're still in this uptrend. So when we're in an uptrend, I wouldn't take a short in the middle of the trend. Now, I think it's probably just bounced at the top. I don't tend to pick these because one, we've hit all-time highs, so you don't know what's going to happen. It could have triggered that and continued on up in this, so I wouldn't pick that. I tend to not pick tops and bottoms because I'm crap at them. So I wouldn't attempt that because you can see we're in this little channel here and it could have triggered you, come back to here and pushed up even higher. So I don't know what anybody else thinks about that. Anybody else take that or think about take that? But no, that's not for me. That it could have triggered and pushed up some more. So I wouldn't take that personally. But yeah, I'm always interested to see what Mac thinks of this later. I always watch him to see, if there's anything that I was a bit curious about, but I'd be interested to see how he does that. But what you could say, he may, in hindsight, he trades a lot in hindsight, so it may just be a failed breakout, and there's also a possibility of two legs, so it still may go a bit higher. I see it as two legs up, failed breakout, second entry short. Yeah, and you might be right, bud. I tend to not take them because I don't tend to have a lot of success with them, so I tend to avoid them. But yeah, there is two legs, but I don't know. Sometimes that's why I avoid them, because sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Which is why usually I wait for the higher low, just to confirm we are coming down. So I don't know. Does anybody else take those types of setups? Yeah, sorry, higher low, lower high. I always wait for the lower high. That then tells me that we're likely to come back at least to the EMA. But yeah, I'm just no good at those, so I tend to just avoid them. Yeah, it's so hard to know what to do here. You don't know whether it's going to bounce here and come down. You don't know whether it's going to, push up. It's really hard trading, this is. We seem to be in a bigger range, and then we go into these really tight ranges. where they're near damn impossible. You know, it did look like push up sideways. When this went up above all these highs, I thought for sure that we were going to maybe pull back and then push up some more. And then we ended up coming right down to the bottom. So, Arthur MFJ, I think you're a new face, ain't you? But just signed up for 350,000 evals with your code. Thanks. No, thank you. Much appreciated. As most of you knows, I get a small commission from Apex for any of you guys using my code. So if you do use them or you have used it, it's thank you. It's appreciated. So, Arthur, I don't think I've spoken to you before. Are you a new face or you? I know some of you sit sort of quietly in the background. So I appreciate that, Arthur. Where you from anyway? I always like to know where people are from. I just like to think it's more glamorous and more warmer than where I'm in the UK at the moment. It's done nothing but piss down in the last 2 days here. My back garden's like a bog. God, this is so hard to trade this. I watch I Am Trader Joe in the morning, then switch to you at 11. I am east coast of US. Okay, north, south, east. Oh, okay, I got you. Excellent. Brilliant. Yeah, he does start earlier than me, doesn't he, Trader Joe? I've watched bits of his stuff. Because I know he trades the NASDAQ as well, doesn't he? So I tend to look at the NASDAQ, see that is a possibility. Actually, I kind of like that. It's like a bull flag, really. Well, it's more of a spike in a channel, isn't it? We've got a touch here, and it fits quite nice at the top, and it kind of doesn't look that bad. But the trouble is, obviously, we tend to have this sort of bullish imbalance, but obviously we're getting sideways stuff. So, trouble is, if you're thinking about a channel like that, where the hell do you trade? Trouble is, yeah, it doesn't look that bad. I love how the English language is so varied. Us Americans never use the word bog, for example. But we know exactly what you mean. Your language is peppered with so many. Yeah, well, I don't know, see, because I don't know how different I am, but yeah. I cut my lawn, actually, both front and back, a few days ago, because we got dogs. How about the crapper? Yeah, we have the crapper over. No, I cut my lawn and I cut it quite short, and I went out there and cleaned up after the dogs this morning, I think, before the binman came. And it was like a sordid bog. It was slopping around everywhere. Arthur, what trade copy do you use? I use Replicanto, purely and simply because it's reliable. Now, Apex do one, which there's my Replicanto there. Apex do one, but I had nothing but problems with it. Now, they did recently update it, but I still heard of a few people using it. But in all honesty, if you look back on all my videos over the last 10 months, that's all I ever use, and I just don't get any issues with it. And I think more people use it. I mean, they're a software company and you get regular updates, whereas Apex, they're not really a software company, and you know, you don't get many updates, so it works brilliantly for me. If you are looking, I have a 20% off discount code down the bottom there if at any point you do decide you want to have a crack at it. But I believe I think you can download it for free to try it, but I don't have any problems with it. It works good for me. But, you know, feel free to ask anybody else. The boot at the left. Lorry. You're welcome, Arthur. You're welcome. See, you, mum, M-U-M, you guys, you Americans spell it mom, don't you? M-O-M. That's wrong. M-U-M is I think it's the correct spelling. But yeah, we are quite different. We're the same, but quite different, aren't we? But we use lots of sort of slang words for all sorts of stuff. And the trouble is, we're actually quite ignorant over here with other languages as well. We tend to think everybody else will speak our language, whereas a lot of Europeans speak, their own language and English as well, and in a lot of cases, a lot of others. We tend to be a bit ignorant over here. I remember I was in France once, maybe 30 years ago. I was working in a ski resort in Val d'Isère, France, and I remember coming back via Paris, and I went into a train station in Paris, then asked in French if she spoke English, and she told me in perfect English, no, she didn't. So she wasn't really happy to help me. So we can get big ignorant over here. We tend to think everyone else will bend over for us and speak, English, but I just watched Skyforce, so I heard mum a lot. I watched the film last night. What was it? Was it the night before? What was it? Not Skyfall. What was it? Oh, it was the second. The Da Vinci, not Da Vinci Code, the one after. I have watched it before. I'm watching the third one tonight, the Inferno, I think. But yeah, I do like the Bond films, but yeah, mum a lot. I'm in a movie mood at the moment. I've just got Sky Cinema again on top of in my Sky package. I've just been in the mood to sit and what I usually do is when my daughter and my wife go to bed, I get my earbuds on, connect them to the TV, blast it up a bit, get some popcorn and sit and watch a film. But I am going through Suits at the moment. I'm on Series 3, it's part of the way through Series 3. And I kind of miss that for some reason. But yeah, you guys say mom, don't you? M-O-N. It's incorrect. God, this is so hard to trade. It really is. It's clearly sort of slowly working up. Glad you took my advice and started watching Suits. Yeah, it's good. I think I'm midway through Series 3 at the moment. And it is good. What do you think of it? It's good. It's good. Or Madam, you could say Madam, yeah. It is good, Suits, yeah, it's good. It's cleverly written, very cleverly written. I love Lewis, I do. He annoyed me initially, but now I just find him brilliant. I'll tell you at the moment, he's just had a heart attack. So he's in hospital at the moment. That's where I am. I watched a bit of one last night, I think. But he is great, actually, Lewis. I think he's brilliant. See, if you traded that as a failed breakout, the trouble is we're also going up. So you don't know whether it's going to trigger you and push up. So it's just Donna. Donna is lovely. She's not as a fruitcake, but lovely. There's just something about her. She is very clever. Yeah, I fancy not. Yeah, I agree with you there. Actually, much more than Meghan Markle. She doesn't really do anything for me. I don't really find her massively attractive. Shakespeare and Hathaway. My wife loves that. It's what's his name, isn't it? The chubby guy. What's his name? Mark Benton. Yeah, my wife loves that. But I love Mark Benton. He was in a series with Robson Green a bunch of years ago. City Lights, I think it was called. City Lights or Northern Lights, something like that. And they're like a double act. They're brilliant. But yeah, I like Mark Benton. But my wife loves that, and my daughter does. What's the other thing they watch as well? About the priest, where there's always murders. I didn't like Lewis for the longest time. I agree with you. It used to annoy me. But now I just think he's brilliant. He's hilarious. He's very clever, isn't he? But he's sort of like the sort of drip of the party, actually. But he's a lot clever than you realise, isn't he? But yeah, I didn't like him, but he's really good. I haven't watched that yet. No, Father Brown, that's it, yeah. So they went through Shakespeare and Hathaway, and they're into Father Brown now. He must be the most unluckiest person, because everywhere he is, every week someone gets murdered. That's not good for a priest, is it? There is some great TV on, I gotta say, in there. I went through, what was the one I recently finished? What was it? God, it's since I've been into Suits, I've forgotten all about it. That was another good series. What's it called? It'll come to me. But now there is some great TV out. What was that series I watched? Ozarks. Yeah, I watched the first. Was it 2 series? There's series 3 out, isn't there? I watched the first 2. Up until where the guy got shot on the head. It was the end of series 2, wasn't it? Where they went to the main guys, all they all worked for, house, and when they got out of the car, I think it was the blonde woman, not the couple, the other one that worked for him. I think I don't know what she was, a accountant or something. She was killed, and then it ended, didn't it? So I haven't seen any since then. But yeah, that's a strange but brilliant program, isn't it? The attorney, yeah, she got shot on the head, didn't she? And I think that was more or less how it ended, wasn't it? But I know there's a series, season 3, but I've been stuck in other programs at the moment, but I will get back to there. But yeah, it is good. I like Jason Bateman. He's good. They play good parts, they do. Not the best parents in the world, are they? It ended, yeah, it did, yeah. Yeah, they're not ideal parents, are they? Really? What they get the kids through. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, there is some great stuff. What was that program I watched with all those series? It went up to season 9. What was it? Can't think. It was about the traders. What's his name? Not Breaking Bad. No, I have seen Breaking Bad twice, actually. What's his name? With the ginger guy. It was a hedge fund. It'll come to me. I watched that. That was brilliant, that was. Absolutely brilliant. Billions, that was it. That was the last one I watched. I finished Billions maybe a month ago. Yeah, that was classic, that was. That was brilliant. I love Billions. Great characters in there. Brilliant characters. What's it I really liked? He was in Bobby Axelrod, yeah. He was the one with the curly tash. He's in, what's it now, isn't he? He was in... don't have it here in... yeah, oh, do you not? Grief. What's his name? Oh, my brain's gone. He was his right-hand man, wasn't he? But yeah, he's in Suits. What's his name? The trouble is, when you get into something new, you learn a bunch of new characters and you forget the old ones. So there is a possible lower high here. Maybe this is a failed breakout, but the trouble is we're still slowly grinding up, so I don't think I can bring myself to take this. It could stitch it and push up. So I'm sitting tight here. It is a lower high. It is a sort of a failed breakout from here, but look, we're going up, so I'm just going to have to skip that. Could be a really difficult trading day today. It's so hard. I think the only thing you can do really is maybe try and pick some of these bottoms. So we're making all-time highs consistently now, so this is really tough. I can't see a trade. In fact, that failure, well, I can obviously see it work now, but I had an order waiting to trigger, never triggered. Thank God, yeah. The trouble is with that, yeah, it kind of looks like a failed breakout, but also we are slowly grinding up. So the trouble is, it's trades. That's why I tend to. I mean, if we're in a straightforward range day, I'd have a go at something like that. But we are still making consistent new highs, and we're clearly. Suits is about to have a spin-off. Yeah, I sort of heard something about that. I heard something about that. I wish they would do spin-offs because you keep some of those characters alive then. The characters you get to know. In fact, what they started doing in what's it called? Bobby Axe on my head's gone black. Oh, Billions. What they you notice they started making that little bit of noise and showing you. They'd freeze frame on one of the characters and they'd list what clothes they were wearing, what shoes they were wearing, what watch they were wearing, and how much they were. I liked it when they did that. They'd say jacket, Armani, $3,000, watch, Patek Philippe, X amount of money. I liked it when they started doing that. But it's a shame it ended, that was. But it did end on a brilliant note, I've got to say. Called Jennifer. Is it really? Jennifer the spin-off. I'll have to look into that. Let me take a photo of that. They do have some great programs. Our TV is it's never better at the moment, is it? And I love the fact that you can binge watch them, back years ago before we had sort of Sky and Netflix and all that. You'd have to wait till next week to watch one, and it just used to bore the arse off you. But I love the fact that you can, watch 8 series of something that's already happened. There's nothing you can do here. You can't go long here because it could stitch you. We're up to all-time highs. You don't know whether it's going to trigger you and then drop like a stone. We're coming up to that measured move on the daily. I'm asking. I'm not sure. Does anybody know? Oh, call Jenna. Oh, okay. I've not heard of anything. Let's spin off now. So hard to trade. So luck. And there is a spin-off. So we're like, okay, variety, suits LA spin-off, promises same energy, and good-looking people. I hope Donna's in it. I like Donna. No, it doesn't seem to say. I know Meghan Markle's not in it, that much we know. No, I'm not sure yet. It doesn't say. I'll have to keep an eye out though. I've still got a few left. I think isn't there about 8 or 9 series in Suits? How the hell did you trade this? See, looking. Yeah, see. Let me just have a look at this. See, what's it really helps me. Looking at the NQ really helps me, but it's not doing anything today. It's just as confusing. We look like we're coming in now. It's sort of similar. We're sort of working up, but look, that's coming back now. So, so I don't know. Let's see what happens if we get down this area. The good thing about if we come down to the bottom, we are going to come into contact with this. Trouble is, if you go, mind you, I suppose the good thing is if you're in a range, you know, the idea is to buy the bottoms and short the top and sell the tops. So if you're buying the bottom here at the bottom of a range and also at the bottom of a channel, if you can get a good enough setup or maybe a higher low off the bottom, then that might be an option. But it is just so difficult at the moment. We've got a touch here, and also two nice touches at the top. And it visually, if you squeeze it down a bit, sometimes it visually kind of works, doesn't it? You know, although it is up sideways, but that's, you know, a lot of times how they work. From Arrow sounds like he's going to be Harvey. Suits is the name of it. Harvey of Suits. Trouble is, I like it. They're obviously going to have some of the characters in, but you never not quite know who, do you? I hope Donna's in it. I do like her and Lewis. I think they're probably two of the strongest characters. Those two. Just like what's it was in Billions. What's his name? His right hand man. I thought he was priceless. What was his name? Wags. Yeah, what a character he was. I absolutely loved him. He was brilliant. He plays a great role. He did, actually. He really did. From Arrow. That Arrow, is that program that used to be out quite a few years ago? Like a superhero type thing. Am I thinking of the same thing or not? Dress down the guy, a sushi restaurant. Yeah, I liked it when What's It was dancing in the lift, and he was just grinning. Oh yeah, he is brilliant. He is great. I gotta say. What's his name was dancing in the lift? What's his name? The Chinese-looking guy. It made me giggle. That. Yeah, Wags is brilliant. What a character! Really strong character. He just, I gotta say, it just wouldn't quite be the same without Wags. Some of these characters, they just make these programs, don't they? It's brilliant. And What's It played a great part as well. The one that played District Attorney. What a brilliant actor he is, I got to say. I forget his name now, but what a brilliant actor. Some great characters in there, really strong characters. There's nothing you can do here, is it? This is turning into a really tricky trading day. How long have we been going for now? It's been a while, isn't it? What time is it? So nearly 2.5 hours. I think the only thing that may have interested me that was that one, but at the time, because we're going up, I just didn't feel comfortable going short because you don't know whether we're going to have a couple of legs down and push up some more because, you know, it's hard to say, isn't it? But with hindsight, obviously it worked nice and it looked like a nice trade, but at the time, we still seem to be going up, so I'm nervous about shorts. So there may be a second entry short, but do you really want to go short here? In a slow grinding up trend. I mean, if there was a second entry short, then I'd probably trade evaluations, but I'm just not confident about trading my PAs. I want to just treat them with a lot more respect this time around. What's the NQ doing? Slowly working up, but very choppy and hard to read. I'm all night. Yeah, I know what you mean. So, is this likely to come down? Possibly. But that's about it. Possibly. So, trend break. We got a channel down, bit of an overshoot, then a push up. Channel down. Didn't break, just turned. So, I wouldn't even want to go long here, to be honest. We're in the middle of nowhere, aren't we? It may go up, but I'd suggest really that if I'm going to consider taking a trade here, I really want it to be down here. I mean, if we are sideways as well, so ordinarily you want to be taking longs at the bottom of here, and fortunately where we are now coincides with this uptrend, so if something looks right down here, then that may interest me. But are we going to get down here? Your guess is as good as mine. To the cold plunge, yeah, don't blame you, mate. It's a tough day today. You take it easy, Jay. Cold plunge. You're crazy, mate. Crazy. Wouldn't catch me. I'll tell you what, I did watch a bit last night. Fortitude. That's set in, is it set, partly set in Iceland, but it's supposed to be, I can't remember now, some makeshift place, but that's really good. And that's ice and snow and frozen everything. Not me, I'm afraid. If I wash some carrots under cold running water, my hand aches. So, I mean, we've been up to the top here before and we've come down. So, I think there's a fair chance we will come down, but I wouldn't like to bet on it. Oh, we got a leg down, looks like a break. It is slowly trying to move up, which tells me that it may more likely pull down. And if we do get another leg, it should take us around to this area. I tend to go for 2 points, but I do. Works out nice that on the odd occasion I have that set at 10 ticks, which is 2.5 points. But a lot of the times I'll bring back a couple of ticks. But it depends. If we get a nice channel with 2 beautiful legs and there's 4 or 5 points to highs, then I may go for a little bit more. You know, I'm not sort of oblivious to that. I may go for 3 points if the right situation arises, but ordinarily it's usually around 2 points, I think, for the most. But, you know, if we had something really obvious, a great channel with 2 legs back and maybe a high low and the chance of another leg, then I'd probably go for a little bit more. I've just got 3 P accounts here. I'm trading one with 2 contracts and the remaining 2 just on a single contract, just for now. There's no setup for me there, unfortunately, and I'm not sure how comfortable I would be going short at the moment because we do seem to be slowly grinding up. Did you sort your problem yesterday? Yeah, I did. Well, I understand it, put it that way. From what I gather with some comments in the Facebook group is you can have a delay sometimes. Everything worked exactly right. Unfortunately, I didn't realise what was happening, and during the delay, the amount in my balance and the amount showing here in the profits were different because obviously there was a minute and a half between the two. So not understanding that at the time obviously created a bit of panic. So I don't know why it happened, but I believe it can. But the trouble is, it never happened to me before, so you just think the worst, don't you? So. Luckily, I mean, on the upside, because I wasn't comfortable with what was happening, I closed the trade. Now, the trade went against me, but by closing the trade early, I actually saved myself about $250 total loss yesterday, so it kind of worked out in the end, so I actually got compensated for the stress, if you think about it like that. But it can happen, so as long as I'm aware of these problems, I can sort of prepare for them, but when you don't know, it's just scary. Nothing to do with replicant, so I don't think so. Especially when I spoke to, and a few other people said they had that same problem. Because all Replicanto does is trades them within NinjaTrader. It's attached to NinjaTrader. So, yeah, I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. Especially as I couldn't close the positions in Rhythmic. Please show the lag issue video. Market was very slow. Please show the lag. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. The lag issue video. Yeah. 1 second. Watched. That's my history. Okay, yeah, that's it there. Volume's off. Okay, so that's the. Somebody mentioned to me a nice lady called I've gone blank. I can't remember her name. In the comments, yeah, she mentioned that. Watch that, and I watched it and thought I like that, so I'm going to sort it out off stream later. You download a bit of software, and what it does, it looks at the lag, and the lag that he's shown you on his system was about a minute and apart. So where is it? Let me have a quick look. So yeah, you want it under 0.025 a second, but he shows you how to download it, and he shows you there the lag is over a second, which is way too much. So you do a few settings, and it takes the lag down to 0.06 or 0.04. So it's a massive difference. So watch that, and I'm going to do that later. So there's the guy, Ken Lorette or something, and just YouTube NinjaTrader lag issues, and that's the guy there. But I'm going to put that into place late this afternoon, because we don't want issues like that, do we? So that's it, NinjaTrader lag issues. Perhaps we've got issues we're unaware of. The trouble is, we're retail traders. We don't know these things. We're not in a environment where there are other expert traders around us who've been through all this. So we just have to sort of find our own ways. So no trader, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do here. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, it's tough trading this. It's congested, but it's working sideways, but then it seems to be slowly working higher. But what can you do? I can't really see a setup here, apart from maybe the lower high. The lower high, not so much for me because we're at the bottom there. That actually doesn't look too bad, but at the time we're slowly pushing up, so I decided to leave it. You don't know it's going to do that, but you know, maybe some of you took it. I don't know, but it worked. I'm waiting for price to break. Yeah, something needs to happen, isn't it? Because it's sort of stagnant, slightly upwards at the moment. We are sort of sideways, but you know, we are making higher lows and higher highs, but very slowly and not very clearly. So it's hard, isn't it? Hard trading it. I mean, it does seem to be working in that sort of area, but it doesn't mean it can't drop. Yeah, I think we do need to break somewhere, don't we? See if we can get down to this area and hold, or even bounce off the bottom and then push up and close, and then maybe get a higher low here, indicating we are continuing up then. That may be an issue, but it's so hard to figure out what's going on. Where's the this is the I think this is the 10. Yeah, this is the 10,000 tick chart. Does this give us anything? Not really. So we got a channel up there and a break. I mean, I think on the 10,000 it's more just sideways than anything else. Yeah, it is. So whether it is actually climbing or not is maybe unclear. So I'd say that's probably something like that. We got a break of it. New high. We're making multiple attempts to push higher, so there is a possibility that it could just come dropping down. But it is very much just sideways. There is a higher low there, which is triggered. But you wouldn't want to go long there, in my opinion, so I'd probably expect that to come down. So I think it's just more sideways. Don't know if you've watched any of Bartfly's. Yeah, I do. He does Pats. About 80% of his trades seem to be trading failed breakouts. Yeah, I do watch him. I spoke to him a few times, actually. He's a nice guy. I do have a little chit-chat with him once in a while. But yeah, he takes quite a few trades. He's quite ballsy. I think he trades the processed. Unfortunately, he doesn't trade live, does he? But I do watch his trades after. But yeah, he takes quite a few trades. I think he plays the numbers game, so he does take slightly more risky ones, but over time they will work. But whereas me, I tend to just not want to take any losses, so I won't take those maybe 70% ones. But you know, if you're taking 70% trades at 1-to-1, then you're making money. But at my level at the moment, I'd rather just wait for those high probability ones. But I do like his style. He's a nice guy. In fact, he had an issue with Rhythmic himself, or Ninja Trade. Something happened with Apex, but he took a lot. He accidentally traded through the news. He took a long trade in. When the news opened, it shot up 2 or 3 points through his profit. Didn't trigger, came down and hit his stop. and he had a bit of a conversation with Apex, and they no, tell a lie, it wasn't Apex. It was it Top Step? I think it was Top Step. But it is frustrating that if price ever hits your stop, boom, you're out the trade. But it can push through your profit and come back without, somebody's making some money somewhere, aren't they? If it hits your profit, it should trigger just as quick as it does if it hits your stop, but it never seems to. Somebody's making something there. So I would suggest then that this is just more sideways with a slight bullish imbalance, but on the 10,000 tick chart, it looks just more sideways. So if we can get a lower high here, then, I don't know, maybe. But the fact that we've come down here twice now and bounced up, it's rejected. So maybe it's going to continue up. 'Hate it when it's this slow. See, picking tops and bottoms, I find they're unpredictable, which is why if I do, I generally wait for a lower high, but sometimes they'll work. See with that one, sometimes they'll work, sometimes they'll just trigger and they won't, which is why I tend to avoid them, just out of experience. They've not been good to me, so, if they're not working for you, I just tend to avoid them. Possible our channel is a little steeper and started just after the open. You're about here, are you? Yeah, I actually like that. About there. Yeah, that actually fits kind of nice. It looks at the top nice as well, so I don't think that matters. We've come from here. We've got a few touches here. In fact, I could probably take that a bit steeper, couldn't I? We've got a few touches there. Touches there. Yeah, I think that looks a little better than how I had it. My only slight concern is this 10,000 tick chart is looking more sideways, so I'm just wondering, am I getting fooled into the fact that we're going up when we might not necessarily be, but I think we are. Trouble is, because it's slow, it doesn't give you any sort of a flow. It's just very slow and stagnant and little moves. But yeah, that visually looks pretty good. Touches there. And the fact that this came down twice and it rejected and sat right there, I think that's a good reason to think about that channel is valid. It's similar to I had it, but much better. So yeah, we've got a break and a new low, and then two quite strong push up. I mean, I wouldn't take anything there personally, but it certainly looks like it's giving us a signal there, doesn't it? We come back, we drop below, we push up, we close, we come back, we drop below, we push up, we close, and then we finish on a high, and then we push up above the EMA. We're coming into contact with these tops again. That's what concerns me. We need to get above here, really, don't we? And then back. Yeah, the fact that we've had a breakout here and we've come down, we haven't even got near the bottom and we stopped here, I think that's encouraging. As soon as we hit that top again, we come back. Maybe we have a couple of legs. Test this and then pick a higher low or something back up. So you look on that 10,000 tick chart, we're going a bit sideways. We had a bit of a breakout of this and we came back. Are we forming a lower high there after that bullish bar, or is this just a small pullback before it goes higher? You just don't know, do you? If you think we're going up, you take that, triggers you, stops you out. I'm not saying it definitely do that, but if you took that trade, that's not what you want to see. NQ pulling back, yeah, maybe just is a bit, but if you take a trade like that, that's not what you want to see. So, let's see what happens when we get to here. So what I will say is, let's put that as a channel. Okay, excuse me, just for 1 minute, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Hold me a second. Okay, so that 10,000 tick chart, we have a lower high there, and it does look like it's pushing up, so that is now turning. So I'd like to see two legs before I think about going long there. So the trouble is, you sit here patiently and you get into something and it stitches you. There's nothing worse than that. The longer I sit here, I like to think my patience gets better, so there's nothing worse than getting into a poor trade. So, if you've got a channel there, there's a bullish bar there which is closed above, which is triggered, but I couldn't, there's no way in good or conscience I could enter a trade like that because it could trigger and then come down for another leg, test this and then rock it up. So, there's just no setup there really. That doesn't mean it won't push up, but this is just risky for me. I don't want to come down again. The trouble is, you know, what I've noticed over, you know, with experience, that a lot of times when it slowly starts to grind up, at some point it could turn and come down really quickly and take a load of positions out. So when it does slowly grind, I do get very dubious about getting into a trade that's going sideways but up slightly. It doesn't strike me as a strong trend. I mean, we went up, it was sort of two legs back, and then a strong move and a lot of sideways. So I mean, it may push up very strongly, but it could struggle and then drop, and then take out any positions that might have opened on the way. It's a horrible trading day, really. It's whipping up and down, isn't it? Trouble is on the NQ, we got all these. That's the NQ. We got all this support here. You can't go along there. I mean, what does that tell us? In fact, it's less of a picture. It's even more of a confusing picture, that is, than the ES. You can't go long into all that. I mean, it could rock it up. Who knows? But it seems like it's pushing up. But it's just unfortunate, isn't it? I think it's going to break. But waiting for retest, maybe. Yeah. We've got all-time highs up here, so you never know whether it's going to just make multiple attempts at this and then drop like a stone. We just don't know. I mean, obviously, once you're above here, you're into new territory, so, you know. It's going to be a blank, I think, today. Another 10 minutes and I've done my 3 hours. I'm not prepared to sit through anymore, really. I want to go and have my dinner. It's coming up 5:30 in the UK. Gonna quit my $36. Good on you, mate. $36 more than I've got today. So, yeah, good luck to you, pal. Won't probably make noise. Yeah, it's hard to know what's going to happen, really, isn't it? But the trouble is, the more you sit through this, the more sort of nervous you get, really, I think. So, yeah, you take it easy, Chris. I think I'm going to join you very soon. $36 is $36. Green's green. It's just slow, isn't it? It's hardly moving. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to knock it on the head there. I'm going to go with you, mate. I think. I don't like this, and the trouble is sometimes, you know, the patience may get the better of you, and you may take a poorer trade, and that. It's not the easiest trading day today, so I'm going to do the sensible thing and knock it on the head. That's what worries me, how you can pick a destination when you're in trade. Absolutely. Once you get above here, how do you know where it's going to go? It could rock it up, but you can't trade it because, you know, I mean, people would argue where it's going. We go up, we go sideways, and then we come down. So it could come straight down here, but this is hard trading today. I'd rather just a straightforward range sideways. At least you know where things are. But at the moment, you know, you got just as much chance of closing your eyes and hitting the buy or sell button, really. So I'm coming up 3 hours, so I've had enough for today. It's not a good day to trade, really. Now, you know, I could come back here half an hour and there may be a lovely trend going up, but at the moment, it's just tough, and it's been for a while, isn't it? It's a lot of this hard stuff. Yeah, you too, Edward. So that's me done for today. So if you've got some green, I think you've done okay to get something in today's chart. It's pretty hard, really. You know, you argue about that one. I might mark that one. It's hard to say. I think he probably would. He may even mark the lower high, but because we seem to be slowly grinding up, I just don't want to take a short, because if it triggers me, stop me out, someone's going to say you went short in an uptrend. So, you know, in hindsight, it looks great, but, you know, in real time, it's hard to make these decisions in real time. You know, you've got to take them and you've got to live by them. And, you know, we're not trading pocket change here. So if it goes wrong, you know, you've got to accept it. So we're coming up to all-time highs again. So not a nice day to trade. So hopefully we get a better day tomorrow. Last day tomorrow, Friday again. So if you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a setup. I hope we get out of this horrible price action. Failing that, I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll do it all again same time tomorrow. Bye for now.